To all in attendance, this meeting is being recorded and live streamed on the county's YouTube page. Calling the roll for Mr. Schron.
Here.
Mr. Kelly.
Here.
Ms. Simon. Ms. Simon is absent. Mr. Tuma.
Here.
Ms. Stevens. Ms. Stevens is absent. You have a quorum.
Thank you. And thank you for my fellow councilmen for attending, making sure our numbers were there. Just by way of background, in case anybody always wonders why we give that little speech about the recording, somebody took the microphone one time and did not tell the truth. And it ended up causing them significant problems in a different hotel room. And so not the hotel rooms that you guys stay in, but ones with a little less open environment where one doesn't come and go as you wish. So with that as a background, it had nothing to do with this meeting, and no one's gonna ever do that, but I always, you always hear that from the audience. I thought, well, you know, at least hear the background. So we have no public comment. Minutes of December meeting. Has everybody a chance to look at them?
I'll make a motion to adopt.
Been moved?
Second.
It's been seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Hearing none opposed, all the minutes are hereby approved. There's one matter that's actually coming for us that we'll take a vote on, and two other matters that are of public importance that will be discussed. So if we could get one read into the record, please.
Resolution 2023-0082, authorizing an economic development loan in an amount not to exceed $2 million to Bridgeworks LLC or its designee to assist with funding project costs of a place-based mixed-use development project located at 2429 West Superior Viaduct in the city of Cleveland, which will include 140 apartment units, a 132-room hotel, a 120-seat restaurant and bar, 12,000 square foot of office space, and a parking garage.
Is there someone here on economic development that's going to talk to this?
Good afternoon. Anthony Stella with Department of Development. And we have a PowerPoint as well right there. So we're going to talk about the Bridgeworks project. Here's a overview of the project site. It's on the northeast corner there of Detroit Avenue and West 25th. It's former county engineer site, and they are coming to us looking for a loan. This is a high-profile project, and it's adding to other high-profile projects that have already been built in the area, including Church and State, which has the same development group. And there's a few other, there's a project right there on the northwest corner, which was recently constructed. And then obviously the southeast part of that intersection is the Irishtown Bend Park, which is going to be a great amenity for that area. the BridgeWorks project is going to help bridge Ohio City into the west bank of the flats.
Okay, I'm usually pretty good with maps, being an infantry guy, but can you tell me, is there a particular store, restaurant thing that would be very close by? Because I don't see the word BridgeWorks,
Right, so
unless I'm missing it.
I'm trying to point, but I can't point at
Yeah,
the screen.
that, you're pointing at that won't show up on the screen, on these
So
screens.
if
Unless you
you're
want to come over
coming
and point at my
across,
screen. that's right.
if you're coming across the bridge there, the Detroit, coming across the Superior Detroit Bridge.
Yep.
On the left-hand side used to be Massimo Restaurant right there. Sort of catty corner is the big site there. It's St. Malachi's Church is also on the, right next to the parcel that we are looking at where BridgeWorks is.
Okay, so it's on the right-hand side of the bridge?
It's on the right-hand side of the bridge when you're coming over, right before you get to
Where the
25th.
Superior Viaduct used to go out to the county engineers?
Yes,
parcel,
on the
okay.
county engineer's site, yes. And I might have said northwest, I meant to say northeast.
That's, yeah, I was.
That might have been what threw you off. so
I was flipping it around in my brain
apologize
because I couldn't, yeah, the map.
You're
was not-
oriented now with
Yep, got it
exactly
now.
where it is? Okay.
Yep, thank you.
The BridgeWorks LLC is a entity created for this project, single-purpose entity. The membership is Grammar Properties, which is Graham VC and Marika Shiori-Clark. M. Panzica Development, which is Michael Panzica, who's here today, and I'll invite him up when I'm finished. And Appleseed Investment Partners, who's also involved in the deal. Project will include 140 rental housing units. Half of those will be workforce housing, the other half at market rate. 132 hotel rooms, 12,000 square feet of Class A office space, retail commercial, which will include some restaurant space and a parking garage. The loan amount is $2 million at 4.5% interest. The information I gave you had a 3%, 3-year interest-only period, which is the accurate. This was what had been presented, and I hadn't got it changed. But it's a 3-year interest-only period in order for them to finish, get construction going, get it completed. A 15-year term based on a 25-year amortization. So they'll have to refinance that in year 15.
Well, they refinance at a year 15 or year 12, based on what you just. done.
Year 15. 15
So it's-
after the 3.
Okay,
after
so
the
it's 3 plus 15.
18, yes.
Okay, thanks.
The project will create 58 new full-time jobs, estimated payroll of just over $2 million. And this is a place-based project. It's development of a vacant parcel in prominent location, adding jobs, resident, and visitors to that site, to the high-profile site. Here's some renderings. You can see how the bridge there on the right-hand side, how it sort of will interact with the building. The access to the bridge will be kept there through that site, and you can see with the new park that will be there right across the street, creating a great amenity on that corner. Overall project is $103.7 million, and we can kind of go through the sources and then all the debt sources. I have a little more detail in the next page. Erie Bank is coming in with a $58 million loan. City of Cleveland is doing a $3 million TIF, and they're additionally doing a forgivable loan of $180,000. They're seeking $2 million from the county. Cleveland Development Advisors and Village Capital Corporation are doing a combined $7 million. It's a combined loan that they're doing together. EB5 is doing a equity investment through some EB5 investors of $21.7 million. 11.6 is coming from the developer. And there's some county and state combined brownfield money for about $266,000. So it's a total of 103.7. And then on the next page here, we see some of the details on the on the terms. Erie Bank's terms, they're running a 3-year construction period, so that's why we mirrored that. And that's interest only at about 8% is what the current rate is. The permanent debt on that would be about 6.3%. And that would be based on a 25-year amortization as well. Cleveland Development Advisors, which is that combined loan with Village Capital, they're doing 7%, which is at 25 years. So both of those loans would be ahead of us on the collateral. We'd be in the third position with our $2 million loan. And this, the pro forma here, this was reviewed by our loan committee at the end of February. The deal in its stabilized year cash flows at a 1.2 debt coverage, and it runs up to about a 1.33 out in year 2032. The county requires a 1.2, so it does reach that. It does cash flow, and it will be a stable project for us. And on the collateral, even though we are in the third position, we will have a 68% loan to value based on the 2 sources of debt ahead of us. That well exceeds the 90% requirement. And then in addition, we're going to have guarantees from Michael Panzica, from Graham VC, from Marika Shiori Clark, and from Appleseed Investment Partners. That mirrors exactly what the banks ahead of us will have as far as their guarantees, and then we'll be in the third position on the real estate. And that's what I had on this. I can invite Michael Panzica up to discuss the project a little bit.
Before we get Mr. Panzica up there, if any
Yes.
questions on the
Anybody
deal
has?
itself? Questions, Raymond? Yes.
Yeah, just two things. One, I was not in infantry. I was not in the infantry. Can you just help me define that area a little bit better as to where it's going to be located? And you explained it once, I kind of missed.
Sure. So it's, let's go, I can go back to the, sort of to the cover there.
Okay, that's a good one, yep.
So right there in the cover, so the big road there coming through on the top is the Shoreway.
Right.
And then coming sort of through the middle, that's the bridge there, Detroit Avenue. So if you're coming over that, heading to the west side, on the right-hand side there's a vacant lot. It's actually fenced right now. It's the county engineer, there used to be a garage and a building, and I think the Personnel Commission used to be housed there. So that's the site. It's just south of St. Malachi's Church, if you're familiar with where that is. So it's right on that parcel, right there.
And that's not going to cause any issues with the church?
No, they've already received approval through the city of Cleveland. I believe they had them site the building slightly back off of 25th to keep that view shed to the church open.
Okay. And then as to the project itself, so I see there are a lot of partnerships involved.
Correct.
In this, which is a good thing. But so why is the county a partner to this? What's the purpose of the county being involved with our
Sure.
$2 million investment here?
Sure, the county's involved due to a gap in the financing, and we're able to provide some lower cost debt to the project. And as you can see from the pro forma, it really is it's a tight pro forma, and we're in there to help get this project across the finish line. They had applied for state TMUD assistance, and they didn't get that. So we're coming in to help bring this project
so there
across.
is a gap that
Yes.
this is looking to bridge what we
Yes.
do in these situations. Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Sure. Mr. Kelly, any questions? So we're looking at 4.5%, and we're going to get that interest only for the first 3 years.
Correct.
And then after that, we're going to get 4.5% for the next 15 years.
Correct.
And currently, I think we're probably making 1.25%, maybe 2% on our money right now, on our investment money.
I'm not sure, yeah.
Yeah, I sit on the investment advisory committee, so I think that's about all we're making. So we're going to almost double, at least in the near term, Let's hope we're done with interest rates rises in regards to that. I'm sure that all the builders would like to. Do we have a brand of the hotel?
It is not public as of yet,
Okay.
but they do have a
But there is
commitment
a
from a
brand and a
hotel.
commitment. I'll ask these
Yep.
same questions. And so personal guarantee, we're all in the same position, is what you're telling us?
Yes, we, as far as the guarantees go, the personal, the three personals and that LLC guarantee, we're getting the same, we're getting guarantees from the same people that Erie Bank is.
Okay,
We
yeah,
we followed their term sheet, so.
Okay, so so we've got two financial institutions ahead of us. The only place that we're pari passu is with the personal guarantees.
Correct,
We're all
yes.
treated the same in that respect. Okay, all right. Well, I assume that that they're hopefully based on the percentage you said that we're still at, what did you say, 68?
I believe, yes, it was
okay.
in the 60s.
Okay, well, that feels like it's a pretty decent place to be then. In regards to that.
68% on the loan to value.
And then that's all I had in regards to the stack. Mr. Panzica, if you could maybe tell us why this is going to be an exciting project for Cleveland?
Yeah, sure. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for your time and for your interest. We've been working on
You
this
gotta put your
project.
name, sorry, you got to put your
Thank you
name
for
on,
the
even though I knew who you were, put your name on the record.
Michael Panzica, part of the development team for Bridgeworks. So we've been working on this project for the better part of over 4 years at this point, previously owned by Cuyahoga County, as you are probably well aware. We responded to a public RFP, and we were awarded the project, and we ultimately closed and acquired the land in July of 2021. And since that time, been working to put together the financing for this project. It is a high-rise construction building, which costs have only continued to go up. We do have a hotel component, which for a couple years during COVID was very much a untouchable asset class. We're excited that we've gotten to where we are with the senior lenders, but it does require gap financing, not just with CDA and Village Capital, but also the loan we requested from the county today. The job creation, as it was already referenced before, but this will be bringing the first really hotel west of downtown before you get to Lakewood. So it's a very unique opportunity to fill that gap. From a housing standpoint, our commitment from day one when we responded to the RFP that the county issued was to provide half of the units at 100% area median income or lower, which restricts the rent that we can charge, which further, I guess, enhances that gap, which is also why we're here today. But very excited about it nonetheless, in spite of all the headwinds we've seen over the last couple of years, and we're very close to being able to start construction on this hopefully in the second quarter.
Question from Mr. Panzica? Yes, Mr. Tuma?
So you mentioned the start date. What is your anticipated close date on this stuff, completion?
Close of completed construction?
Construction, yeah.
Yeah, it would be about a 22-month construction period, so early 2025.
Okay. And there's the housing component. I'm assuming you guys, there's still a need for housing in that area, in downtown area?
Absolutely. Still a need for housing, and the gap that really exists is the ability to have affordable housing.
Right.
And so that's really the gap that we're looking to fill, in addition to the continued demand for market rate housing. Yes.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. I assume at some point along the way that there will be a public announcement of the hotel brand?
Yes, absolutely. We do have a signed franchise agreement with a major flag, so it is a reputable flag standing behind the brand itself. It's a very novel brand, certainly to Cleveland, but also really in the United States, and there will be a public announcement that we're very excited to share.
Okay, well, it looks like it would be a place where some of those new contemporary brands would play very nicely in that respect. Some of those are kind of funky hotels, but they're fun to stay in that respect. And then regards to, you've got market rate and below market rate out there. I was just having this discussion today at lunch with somebody. Is there a point at which the market rate flips to condos at some point? Is there a number of years you have to hold before that could take place?
Condominiums are very difficult to finance because typically
Right.
lenders require pre-sales, and that's been a very high hurdle to clear in Cleveland to this point. Is it possible to perhaps flip them and sell them as condos? Sure. We do have a 15-year deed restriction on this
Right.
relative to the affordable housing. Long-term, that could certainly be a possibility, though.
Okay, because I think there's as much demand for that need also
Yeah.
for permanent housing, because a permanent housing person is not transient. They've got skin in the game as far as having invested capital in that. So I hope at some point we start to have those conversations too, because I think it makes for a vibrant downtown to have people actually owning stock in the city in addition to that. So with that, any other questions in regards to it? In my own personal life, we're doing some building in Chicago, but it's my hat's off to you because the supply chain is certainly broken in a bunch of pieces out there. Now, you also are taking out one of the more popular Italian restaurants that used to be in the city. Is that going away? That one?
There's no restaurant on this site. This was
But
previously.
there was one a little further down, though, wasn't there?
Luca still is on the viaduct.
Oh, is it still there?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought
Yeah.
I thought you said we lost Luca.
No,
'Cause
no, no.
we have-
We love Luca. We don't want that to go anywhere.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah, we have some friends from Israel, and they can smoke cigars out at Lucas on the front, so I want to make sure that it wasn't voting for something that's gonna take out one of their favorite places.
We're not touching that, no.
Okay, all right, thanks. Very good. Any other questions? Hearing none. What are we asking for in regards to the vote on this, in regards to this? Can this take 3 readings? You're the one, Anthony, the ball's in your court at this point.
If we can do it on 2 readings, that would be great.
Okay, does anybody have any reason to think not otherwise?
Yeah, I have no objection to that.
Okay.
So we can get moving.
The chair, in order to move it along, say, the chair will move this for expedited reading, for our second reading approval at the next board meeting, or next council meeting, sorry about that. Is
Make
there
a second on that?
Moved and seconded, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So hopefully we'll get a favorable vote at the next council meeting. Thank you. Thank you so much. We have 2 other items on here. It is my anticipation that both these items, at some point, we'll see a council reading into the record of an ordinance or resolution at some point, but even though we don't have it right at the present time. So if we can get the first item read in, it won't be read into the record for purpose of voting, but for purposes of discussion.
First item, amending resolution number 2021-0055, dated March 23rd, 2021, which authorized an economic development, redevelopment, and modernization loan in the amount not to exceed $1 million to Warner and Swayze LLC for the benefit of a mixed-use real estate redevelopment project for a property located at 5701 Carnegie Avenue in the city of Cleveland by extending the resolution sunset provision from March 23rd, 2023 to March 22nd, 2024.
For purposes of my colleagues, I had suggested we put this on for the reading. What the council president does as far as what he wants to do in regards to the processing of it, that'll be up to him. But I thought let's not delay this, waiting for a committee meeting where we're ready to go. And so that's the purpose of this, we'll get this piece out of the way and then let the council president decide how he wants to handle it as far as on the agenda. So.
So this is a project that was brought before the council back in March of 2021. It's the Warner and Swayze building that's been vacant for quite a long time near the intersection of East 55th and Carnegie Avenue. The developer has been working diligently to put their sources of financing together. However, they have one source, which is a low-income housing tax credit application, of which they won't know whether they are receiving funding on that until May. They've gone through a couple of rounds of trying to get this final piece of financing, and they're very hopeful they're going to get it this time. And if they don't, they have another shot at it later this year, which would be announced by November. So we're asking the council to extend the resolution until March of next year to give them time to get that last piece of capital together so that they can get this project going. This This building has been a challenge. There's been quite a few developers who've taken a look at it. And this we kind of feel is sort of the last chance for this building to get a use, to get developed. And it's at a very important intersection in Midtown, which would, again, kind of comes back to that discussion of housing, is going to bring some affordable housing into the area, some new affordable housing near some of the new amenities. It'll be a total of 140 housing units, a mix of 1, 2, and 3 bedroom units.
Mr. Kelly was not here have the benefit. I think Mr. Tuma was here to have heard the benefit of this project. Could you a little bit describe it? Because what was going to go on, I believe, is, if my memory serves me, at the Warner Swayze building, was going to be pretty iconic as far as what they were trying to do to save some of the internal branding of the original Warner Swayze. I mean, that was an institution in this. I mean, that.
Yes. So yeah, as far
history
as
says they actually were impactful in solving and helping us during the Second World War to win that war.
sure, that was it was a major. So a little bit of the history is a major manufacturing facility. They mostly created industrial equipment during the World War II. They created war equipment, helped in the effort to win the war. So it's an important building. It's an important historic asset, and it's going to get a reuse. You know, if they're able to get this all together, which they're very close. It's a $54 million project to bring 140 new housing units and also some commercial office space. And they have historic tax credits on it, so they will be restoring fully the exterior of the building. And there are some interior touches and some interior things from when it was used as a manufacturing facility that they intend to keep in place. There's on the back side of the building where they're putting the parking, there's a roof of part of the old manufacturing facility, sort of a sawtooth roof. They're keeping that in place to have the parking covered. They will be using that space also for different events that they might have in the neighborhood. So it's a very big project, again, and a very important project to the city of Cleveland and Cuyahoga County, because it's prominent. It's in a prime location. It's just that taking these old buildings and renovating them, it requires a lot of outside subsidy through tax credits and some other help, and they're kind of rounding third on that and hope to get that completed. It will be a total of 46 new jobs, also just over $3 million in payroll for the city of Cleveland.
Questions? Mr. Kelly?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Listening to what you're just saying about this building, would this building be considered a historic building? Would it be designated as such?
Yes, I believe they had it designated as a historic building in order to qualify for some of the tax credits on there, so yes.
Does that limit what you can do to the building if it's historic?
Yes, there's limits to how when there's any kind of historic tax credits, there's a limit to what they can do on the exterior. The exterior has to be the same as it was historically. The building does have the benefit, which it's odd to say, it has the benefit of not having the windows, because they can get replicate windows that have the same type of look, since the windows aren't existing. If the windows were there, they would have had to repair what was there in place, which would actually, interestingly enough, cost more to do it that way. So yes, there are limits, but they've factored that into their costs.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, Warner Swayze was famous for making some of the most sophisticated machine tools during the Second World War, and without them, we didn't make our tanks and our airplanes and things like that. So I wasn't there at the time, but the dollars to build this was $54 million at the time 3 years ago. What's happened with inflation, and will they still be able to complete this project? Have we done time check as far as their money? Is it,
Yeah, I think there are some increases on there, but that's part of what they're looking to get with those tax credits. The low-income housing tax credits, they're trying to help bridge that difference in some of the costs on the supply chain.
Okay, but they haven't come back to ask anything more for us?
No, they have not. They
Okay.
have not asked for any additional off of that million.
Okay, any other questions? All right, there's no action that will be taken at this point in time, so this will be in the hands of our council president as far as what he does with putting it on the agenda. I'm hoping that, in theory, having had the hearing right now, that we can do it for first reading approval, but that's, of course, up to him. Thanks.
Okay.
Now, we have one other item to read into the record.
Economic
Again,
Development.
again, this will not have a vote, so those folks who are here from Renaissance, I hope you appreciate the fact we were putting it on for a quick reading to get it up here so we can get that piece within the committee piece done before it even gets read into the public record. Thank you.
An economic development loan in the amount not to exceed $2 million to Skyline Renaissance LLC for the renovation of the Cleveland Renaissance Hotel located at 24 Public Square in the city of Cleveland.
All right. We can get the PowerPoint up there.
Still the same person, but please.
Should I introduce myself again?
Yep, because you're going to be talking
Anthony
about it.
Stella, Department of Development, and I didn't introduce myself on the last one, but that was also me. Okay, so the next item that we're going to discuss here is the business name is Skyline Cleveland Renaissance LLC, and again, I have a map of the project site, which is the Renaissance Hotel, which is at 24 Public Square, outlined in the green there. And the entity is a single-purpose entity. It was created to do this to purchase and renovate the Renaissance Hotel. The company behind that is Skyline Investments Incorporated, and I have some representatives here, which I'll introduce once I get through this, just like on the last one. Essentially, they're going to be, they're renovating this hotel. It will be sort of reverting back to its original name of Cleveland Hotel. It's a 491-room hotel at 870,000 square feet. It's a very large hotel, originally built in 1918. This is at a strategic location. They're going to be upgrading this hotel. It's currently a 3-star hotel. It's going to be upgraded to a 4-star. It will be part of the autograph collection. This is a notable hotel in Cleveland, very historic hotel. Again, been there over 100 years. It was originally built as a 1,000-room hotel again, in 1918. In the 1920s, it was purchased by the Van Swiergen brothers, who then built the Cleveland Union Terminal Complex, which is directly adjacent. This hotel now is connected to that complex we know today as Tower City Center. Over the years, it's been known as the Sheraton Cleveland. It's been known as the Stouffer's Inn on the Square. They've hosted celebrities and political leaders, the Beatles, Martin Luther King Jr., Duke Ellington, Ronald Reagan, during one of his campaigns. So it's a significant structure itself, and the history behind it is also very significant. It's a pivotal renovation. Sherwin-Williams is building their new headquarters directly across the street, and they will be working with Sherwin-Williams in order to have this hotel be where their guests come and stay. They'll host events there. This is an important project for Department of Development just because of the way it interplays. Number one, with the redeveloped Public Square, again with Sherwin-Williams across the street. the Tower City Center, which Bedrock Cleveland is looking to repurpose, and directly sort of adjacent to Tower City, we have the riverfront, which also Bedrock is looking for developers to redevelop. So it's kind of again connecting Public Square to the river and also through Tower City Center. A little bit about Skyline Investments is that they're a Canadian company, publicly traded. They specialize in properties all through the United States and Canada. Their first acquisition in the United States was the Hyatt Regency at the Cleveland Arcade. Again, another iconic Cleveland historic building. And they are seeking a loan in the amount of $2 million to help. They're having, like everybody, inflationary pressures on the construction costs and on interest rates that everybody's facing. So they're seeking a $2 million loan from the county with 4% interest. This one is 15 years, fully amortizing, with 1 year of interest only for construction, because they expect the project to be completed this year.
Yeah, that's at 4.5?
Yes,
You just said 4? I thought-
4.5, excuse me. It is 4.5. Did I say 4? Okay, 4.5.
They were smiling back there when you said 4.
No, it is 4.5. Currently, there's 67 full-time employees at the hotel. They're looking to add about another 126 employees there. And again, this same sort of thing, the benefits, number one, are job creation, and then the place-based benefit, redevelopment of the historic hotel in the prominent location, adding jobs and visitors to this site. Just sort of a historic image of the hotel, and some images of some of what the renovations will look like. One of the rooms there. And again, we'll go through the sources and uses, and then I'll go through a little more detail on the next slide. This is a $90.8 million project being funded through some additional money from Fifth Third Bank. An additional $16.6 million. They already had funded the acquisition. So this is some additional funding. City of Cleveland, a $10 million TIF. Cuyahoga County Port Authority, some revenue bonds of a little over $14 million. And again, they're applying for $2 million from the county. Ohio Water Development Authority of $2 million, and then some small sources, some energy rebates of $600,000, sign fund of $100,000, and Marriott will be putting in $1.5 million in key money. Developers putting in about $27.7 million in total equity into the project. Historic tax credits of $13.9 million. And they're also hoping to get some a new market allocation of $2 million. If that doesn't come through, the developer will be contributing additional equity, and they're going to try to also get some savings on some of the construction. But that's $2 million is what they're thinking, and new markets could be worth on that. So these are all the debt sources and the terms. So these are the sources that will be ahead of us. Fifth Third Bank, the total debt will be $34.7 million. Port Authority is 18.6. There's a little bit of a difference. 18.6 is the total amount. The net amount going into the project is a little over $14 million. Ohio Water Development Authority of $2 million again, and county at $2 million. So we would be in a fourth position on this project. And we took a look at the projections, which were reviewed earlier this month, or actually last month, because it's April already. Debt coverage, the first stable year, which would be next year, is 2.02. So this performs well above what we would require for debt coverage, and it's also a very strong It's very strong collateral. We would have a combined loan to value of about 41.5% based on a appraisal value of about $137 million. We would also be taking a corporate guarantee from Skyline Investments, which is the parent company from Canada. And I will invite up, we have 3 representatives from the company. We have Frank McGee here, who's the general manager of the Renaissance Hotel here in Cleveland. Blake Lyon from Toronto, who's the CEO of Skyline Investments. And Kirk Russler is also here, and he is their local counsel with Porter Wright.
Okay, but before we do that, if there's questions in regards to the stack, the financing stack from anybody? The chair asked a couple questions then. I heard a corporate guarantee. Is there any personal guarantees coming for any of the stack?
No, because this is a publicly traded company, so it's
Oh, that's a good point.
it'll be
Sorry about that,
corporate.
not
Yeah.
privately held, sorry.
Yeah. That's-
And if the new market tax credit date, do we have a date on which that comes up? Because these things, the new market tax credit seems to be the one that always comes back and bites people, because
Yeah, I
it
think,
doesn't get done timely.
I believe they're looking to apply for the next allocation, but again, they've already committed to making up that difference. If they don't get that new market allocation, because it's $2 million, they're going to make up that
Okay, I was more
difference.
curious as to whether that's a driver of anything to get started on it, and to your knowledge, it's not. We'll ask them.
No, the project, they're already, they are already underway, so.
In the earlier slide, you had the word advanced by Fifth Third on their amount of money, so
Yes.
they already have money, they already have money in the skin in the game?
Yeah, Fifth Third is already in, so the total amount from Fifth Third, if I can.
It's
go back.
38 million, but.
Right, yeah.
But
So
they
they have already put money in through the acquisition and some of the construction, and they've committed an additional advance into
Okay.
the project.
Okay, and then.
So they're committed.
And this will be a Marriott autograph collection, I think that the 9, is that part of the?
That's
an
also,
That's
yes.
also an autograph collection, I think, too.
Yes. So
we'll
it'd be
have
the
two of them.
same tier.
Okay, very good. All right, if you can invite the folks from Skyline up, that would be great. Welcome to Cleveland.
Thank you. That's Blake Lyon from Skyline. So I'll just, I guess maybe say a few things. Obviously, we're pretty excited about this renovation. It's been a long time coming. We've seen a precipitous decline in the hotel as the hotel needed this renovation a long time ago. But we've been wrestling with this budget. The good news is the hotel is 100 years old. The bad news is it's 100 years old. And so, every time we kept working at this budget, it just kept growing. So a lot of things have come together to help us with finally wrestling this down to something that works and that makes sense, that we got Marriott to approve on, who have been after us, every day about when is this renovation going to happen. But I think it is now happening, and we're live in the process today, and we've got a lot of groups that have come together in that capital stack, including Fifth Third, of course, who's the main bank. So we're excited about what it'll do. You've seen some renderings of what the property will look like. We're converting it to the Autograph, which is a higher level of brand under Marriott, and this is going to, we think, maybe we're being selfish, but we think this is going to be the centerpiece of in the hotel market in Cleveland. This thing is really going to be ground zero for the hotels. We've just finished. We at Skyline just finished, for the most part, renovating the Hyatt, so it's substantially complete. And now with the Renaissance, ultimately Autograph on deck to be done by the end of year, we will have 2 strong hotels in the market, as the other hotels are now kind of waning and they need renovations themselves. So we're excited that this is happening, and you know, with Frank and the employment that the property will drive from the renovation, and we want to, you know, because we've seen the business unfortunately walk away because event planners just won't come to the hotel as much anymore because of the status of the room. So this is a game changer for the property, and it'll tie in nicely with the conference center in the city, and I think is really needed to keep up and keep pace with the overall city and the conference facilities here in order to make it all work. So we're pretty excited about the project and everything finally coming together, and we've got a lot of work still to do to get it done by the end of the year. But someone mentioned supply chain. You know, it's been a strain, but I think we're pretty much, there's still stuff that we're going to chase, but I think the supply chain is settled down enough that we feel like we're going to get through. You know, maybe we'll miss a month or two, but I think we see that this thing can get done by the end of the year, and a lot of construction workers being employed as a result of the construction itself, and so I think it's a wonderful project, and we're delighted to be finally seeing it come through.
You'll be if you're saying you're going to be done by 12/31?
Plus or minus, substantial completion, as we call it.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah, but you'll be ahead of Sherwin-Williams headquarters, so you'll be already starting to be able to book rooms and things like that for them as they go live.
Yeah, I
with the
think
building.
they're another year.
Right, I know, that's what you're gonna be way ahead of that.
So we've developed a nice relationship with them. We're going to call the ballroom the Sherwin-Williams Ballroom.
Oh,
I don't know if that's been announced, but it is now, I guess.
it's too late now. Remember that public record thing I opened the meeting with? That's right. It's now a
But
public record.
we've agreed with them that they can take that naming right, and yeah, we will have a relationship with them. They're already our largest customer today, and they'll be even larger with when the headquarters is built there. And we've offered to give them one of our meeting rooms and just kind of go design crazy on one of the meeting rooms to make it a showcase room for them. And they've talked about some other connections with the property. So, you know, that obviously is that really wasn't in the planning when we were getting all this together. So this is just really helping us as with Sherwin-Williams coming in with the headquarters there. So
Well, that certainly helps when you have a world-class headquarters being built right across the street from you. It doesn't hurt your occupancy, I wouldn't think too much.
No, it helps activate the retail as well, we think.
Oh, yeah, I
And
would
that's
hope
been
so.
a problem for us. And so, you know, we've got some dead retail underneath. We've got the 15th floor up top that it isn't part of this renovation, which will, I think, allow those opportunities to go forward once the headquarters is next door.
I was just telling my colleagues that we stayed at your hotel during the Elton John, and it was a little tired at that point.
Frank's done a great job, though, of you know,
The people were
making
nice,
it
the
work, right?
superb was great, and the bar
yeah.
was terrific, but
Yeah.
the rooms were a little tired, but it was close. It was a close proximity.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
To there. Questions by any of my colleagues? Yes.
How you doing this afternoon? Could you speak just a little to the brand? You mentioned the Autograph. What does that entail, that type brand?
So the Autograph is sort of it's one of their less demanding brands. They call it a soft brand, and so it allows the owner to not be in a hard box as to what you need to do for the hotel, and typically you then allow the building itself to take on the personality more. And so I was actually struggling with the Renaissance name for a long time. It was one of the delays. I said it just doesn't feel right, and they wanted the Renaissance designers from Marriott wanted to do some crazy colors and weird stuff, and we finally just sort of broke through that after a good solid year, and then at the same time the Autograph that you have here next door, the 9, had a radius clause that burned off. And so that allowed us to then come into being able to look at the Autograph. And as soon as we had that, everything just seemed to fall into place after that, because then it was us just really letting the building speak for itself and the 100-year history speak for itself, and you're not trying to create something that wasn't there. And that, so the Autograph is their, they're sort of their almost top, but not quite top. Ritz would be one of their top one, JW would be, but the Autograph slides in just below that. And so it really creates a next level for our hotel. It gives it a little bit of a competitive advantage of some of the other brands. And from my perspective, and Frank's the operator, but it just fits better with there was nothing wrong with Renaissance, but it was a little bit of a square peg in a round hole in my view. So.
Sure.
I'm sorry, but you got to do the same.
I'm sorry, Kirk Ressler. I'm the counsel for Skyline. So when Blake is talking about flexibility kind of with brand standards, it gives Skyline the opportunity to make it more of a unique hotel, right? So it's not going to look like every other Renaissance. Every Renaissance has to look the same. And it allows them to develop the partnership that they've created with the city of Cleveland with this hotel. So Sherwin-Williams is a historic tax credit investor, right? And so we're going to keep the history of the hotel. The Autograph allows us to call the Hotel Cleveland, which is what the hotel was called 100 years ago when it was started. The Autograph collection allows us to design the rooms. So when you walk into the room, there's a wallpaper picture in the rooms, and they're landscapes of Cleveland, Cleveland landscapes. So it really allows them to fulfill their vision of being a partner with the county, with the Cleveland, and making this really the centerpiece of Public Square.
Great, I appreciate that. With it being coming up on 100 years old, is there any issues with declaring it a historical landmark? Because sometimes, it is historical? Okay. So are there things that the city of Cleveland kind of would have some say over on that?
We worked pretty closely with the Historical Society, I guess, right? And
Okay.
on various things, and we never really had a challenge. We deal with that at the Hyatt. It's also historical. There's always a way to make them work together, and it's never been.
Okay, and I just know that sometimes that can be a very good thing, sometimes it can be a very hindering thing, depending on.
Yeah, I'd say in this case, it's pretty good.
Okay.
I mean, it really, and we've maintained the essence of it, and clearly you got to look at it. It's mostly the exterior as well, and we're upgrading. Part of this renovation is $5 million of it is going to the exterior, and resetting a lot of the concrete around and making this thing just a safer building outside as well. But once you get inside, it's less. There's less restrictions on the history. But we've had a great relationship. The portraits in the room. We worked with the library here and found these interesting, cool pictures of Cleveland 70, 80, 90 years ago, and they're going to be in every single room.
That's
It's
good.
really neat.
Good stuff. All right, I appreciate it. Thank you, and good luck to you.
Other questions? Maybe you came all the way down here. At least get a chance to tell us about the
Had to come
Renaissance.
anyways. I'm glad to be here.
No. I mean, the gentleman from the Renaissance,
sure.
who's he has.
Hi, Frank McGee, General Manager at the Renaissance Cleveland Hotel. It's a very exciting project. I've been at the Renaissance since 2002. I'm a native Clevelander, so I'm extremely excited, the civic pride that I have with that building, and to see her come to fruition and get back to the Grand Dame of Cleveland is extremely exciting. And a lot of our partners in the city, not just Sherwin-Williams, the key banks and progressives of the world, are really looking forward to having this landmark address brought back to where she needs to be.
But I noticed that neither of our big banks in town here are the supporter. We had to go to Cincinnati to get the funding out there. I thought that was kind of interesting that neither PNC nor Key Bank are listed on that. And that's okay. I understand. Some things stack up. The capital stacked.
For what it's worth, KeyBank is the placement agent for the TIF bond.
Okay. Well, good. Glad they played a role. And to my colleagues, when I travel, I stay at Marriott's quite often, but the autograph collection are always kind of fun because they're not a cookie cutter within the Marriott properties. They're always unique to have a little bit something of local culture out there in that respect. Plus, I can't afford the Ritz-Carlton, so I see, that's right, from that standpoint. Any other questions? I, again, apologize we're not able to vote on this, but it's my sincere hope that when the council president sees that this hearing was done in depth, that we got all the financials, we got all the information, that we should be able to hopefully expedite the process internally within the legislative process so it doesn't have to come back to this committee. I know you guys made a special trip down here from Canada to be here, and we appreciate that. And we wish you all well, except when the Jays are playing our tribe over, or not tribe, our Guardians over there, right?
Well, we appreciate your help and thank you.
Thank you. Good luck on that. That's pretty darn fast work if you can get this thing done by January. Thank you. God bless and good luck. Any other questions, comments? Hearing none.